everybody, it is John the Comic Guy, and we are hitting the ground running in 2025. I already did some trades, and that's what today's video is going to be about. We're going to talk about the trades that we already did January 1st. But before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our viewer, Kinda Twisted 329. Kinda Twisted 329 made a comment in my holiday video, and it cracked me up because he said, "Dude, I love the too much eggnog moment." He goes, "It's so relatable. I subscribed, and you are fun to watch." Brother, thank you so much. You know, as I'm making these videos, I kind of am a one-take wonder. When I'm making these videos, if I make a mistake, I let things roll, right? I keep it. It's showing that I'm human. So, kind of twisted 329. Thank you so much. So, now let me give you a little bit of backdrop on the trades. At the very end of the year, I think it was the day before the day before New Year's. I connected with a guy who was doing a sale, a moving sale in Toms River. So he was planning to do this later in the month, but I reached out to him just because, you know, things happen. You never know what we're going to do. So I figure I'm going to reach out to him, see if he has comics for sale now. And I'm glad I did because people were already bidding on his comics. Ultimately, I won the bid. I picked him up. It was the day before New Year's. And then I started sorting. So I'm actually still, in a minor extent, sorting now. I'm certainly pressing the books that I want, but I reached out to a couple of people really early. One was Ryan Soupy, right? My brother who loves Spider-Man. I got a couple of Spider-Mans in there. And one was Matt from Patriot Comics. So now we're talking about the holiday season, right? So on the 24th, Krista and I are partying with some neighbors, and on the 31st, we're partying with some neighbors. And we're talking about comics, and it just so happens their daughter, Rosalind, has a 3D printer, and she also collects records and comics. And she goes, "You know, if I printed you out some stuff that you give me information on that you like, I'll trade you a couple of those for a record." So this is a cool girl, smart, and it's like, "Rosalind, let's do it." So on New Year's Eve, again, we're partying. That was Krista's birthday. But after we ate dinner at the Knife and Fork Inn, we went over to the neighbor's house, and they had preliminary, they were testing out some of the stuff that they were printing. These aren't perfect, right? It might be a cooling issue. So she explained, she's still working on it, but she says, "Hey, these are printed already. You take them." So this is what my neighbor is printing out for me. And in return, I'm going to trade her some comics and records. So trading in its finest, right? This and this. I love B9. So if you guys are from my age, you probably saw the original Lost in Space, the Space Family Robinson. B9 was the robot. I love this robot. So they're printing things out. Again, there's some slight imperfections, and I'm cool with that, right? They're working it out, but I still gave her some records and comics for doing this for me, but I love it. No movable parts, but I don't care. I think they're cool. I might even experiment and start painting these and see how that comes out. I don't know if I want to get into it that bad, but so that was a part of the first trade really of the year. I got them New Year's Eve, but hey, right, I'm counting all this for the new year. The next trade is from Ryan Soupy. So I ended up getting some Spider-Man comics, Amazing Spider-Man. One of them was Amazing Spider-Man 700, which I was sort of going to keep for myself, but I texted him the stuff that I got. I let him know the one book I was going to keep, and he goes, "Hey, ironically enough, I am looking for some of those." And he goes, "And I would like to trade you, perhaps, for that Amazing Spider-Man number 700 for the Tomb of Dracula." Now, spoiler alert, right? Clearly, I took the trade. This is a mid-grade. It's like a 6.0, but this is just once again showing if you guys aren't into trading, you really need to reconsider. Especially when you have a network of such great people like Ryan, Matt from Patriot Comics. These guys trade, and they have good stuff to trade. And by the way, I also want to mention, we're not so picayune about the dollar amount, right? If the Amazing Spider-Man was worth $20 and this is worth $15, we are not the kind of traders that say, "Ooh, you're $1.28 above. Let's kind of square." Uh, we just don't care that much. We are just trying to have fun. So I can't impress upon you enough that if you don't have a network of trading buddies, you want to set that up because these guys are great. And literally, when Matt was trading, which was what I'm going to show you now, Rosalind's in there picking through records and comics too. It's fun. It's a social event. So okay, so Ryan, thank you so much for this. Enjoy your Amazing Spider-Man books. I always appreciate you, brother. Now with Matt from Patriot Comics, I knew he was holding some of these. He ended up having more than I expected, which is great. So I'm going to kind of do these in reverse order for the most part. Monster Times number 21. So you guys know I like Monster Times, right? This is stuff that I've always had envy with Ernie because Ernie had these when I was a kid. I've never ever had them until recently. So now Matt's helping me flesh out my collection of Monster Times. So Monster Times number 21. Monster Times number 20. Yeah, this is number 20. Little Captain Kirk action there. I love Monster Times. Chime in the comment section. Do you guys have Monster Times? Do you like Monster Times? I really like them. Monster Times number 18, Dracula. I think that's Lon Chaney, right? He always creeped me out as a kid. He is. I thought he was a scary ass Dracula. But Monster Times number 18. Monster Times number 17. By the way, Robbie the Robot happens to be my other favorite robot. Robbie the Robot and the B9 Robot are great. So I might connect with Rosalind to see if she might be able to print out a Robbie the Robot. But get her some more records and comics and get me a 3D printed Robbie. Monster Times number 16. I'm just so happy. I'd never owned a Monster Times before recently, and then suddenly now I have like 30 of them. I love it. Monster Times number 15. Pretty cool. Monster Times number 14 with the werewolf on the cover. Very nice. Monster Times number 12. Gorgo. And Matt put these in my life. I mean, these came to me in such great condition. Again, because these are all newsprint, we all know they get a little fragile, right? Newspaper deteriorates, but these are in relatively decent condition, and obviously we always preserve our stuff in Mylar. This is Monster Times number 11. I have a couple of copies of this. So I have a couple of duplicates, and as always, I'm okay with a couple of duplicates. Now, my favorite book, this is not in sequential order. This is actually Monster Times number 13. But the reason this happens to be my favorite, boom, Spider-Man on the cover. I wouldn't say he was a monster, but boy, I really like this cover. So this was, for me, the Monster Time pickup of this trade. But again, if you haven't traded with your friends, please do. Before I do it, I have to reach over here because I also want to give an honorable mention to two of the books that I got in this recent collection. You know, I mentioned my buddy Howard Bender several times, right? He's the guy who got me my Rock'em Sock'em Robots. He traded me some great comics. He's the guy who ended up selling the Marvel Comics #1 cover list to the guys from Excellent Adventures for about $500 decades ago. But again, Howard's always been a great friend. Howard also took care of the artist's collection for Kurt Schaffenberger. So if you're not familiar with Kurt Schaffenberger's work, he's great. He's since passed away, a great guy. But when he was signing books, Howard would also hang out with him. When he passed, he kind of administered Kurt's collection for Kurt's wife. So Howard's a good guy, right? He's doing some altruistic stuff. But I found these in the collection. So and Kurt actually did a lot of the adventure comics with like Supergirl and Superboy and Superboys. So as you can see here, Kurt on the cover has had his name printed, but down there I noticed like, whoa, we have some Kurt signature going on there. So I got a Kurt Schaffenberger signature on this Superboy, which is issue number 17. I also saw, all right, again, so on the cover, it's clearly a Kurt art for Superboy, but then, of course, Kurt Schaffenberger's signature is on the cover itself. I reached out to Howard, and he says he might have actually been there at the time this is all signed, but somehow these are going to find its way to my good friend Howard in the future. But Kurt Schaffenberger, everybody. So these were pretty. This was a pretty cool pickup collection. I will put the video out probably in a couple of waves. It's probably going to be in a couple of months, right? I actually have other videos that I'm going to show beforehand, but this was a great collection, a decent amount of older stuff, bronze and silver, right? It wasn't all modern comics, but I'm going to probably break it out into, me doing a flip through for you guys, and then I'm going to show you in a different video the books I'm keeping, because I ended up keeping a lot. So anyway, everybody, if you like this content, I would please encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate everybody I shouted out, including, again, Kinda Twisted 329. Brother, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the community. I hope you all stick with me too. Thank you, and I'll talk to you all soon.